Minister Amit Shah is at a massive rally in West Bengal's Mednipur, where he's currently campaigning. India Today's Anjana Om Kashyap caught up with Amit Shah on BJP's Bengal mission and also on the Maharashtra Hafta Gate scandal. Let's cut across.
आप कहते हैं कि आप घुसपैठियों को, बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों को हटाएंगे, उसकी वो कैसे होगा सर? उसके लिए क्या है?
हम सीमाओं को और सुरक्षित करेंगे, थानों की जिम्मेदारी तय करेंगे कि थाने घुसपैठ के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल माने जाएंगे।
नंदीग्राम की लड़ाई कैसे जीतेंगे और कैसे आप आश्वस्त हैं कि ममता को शिकस्त देंगे? वो तो कह रही है यहाँ की बेटी हैं, ये सब बाहरी आ गए हैं, टूरिस्ट आ गए हैं।
इतने सारे लोग टूरिस्ट अगर होते हैं तो मैं ममता जी को आश्वासन देना चाहता हूँ, वो अपनी स्वप्न की दुनिया में जी रही है। बंगाल का मुख्यमंत्री बंगाल का ही धरती पुत्र बनेगा, कोई बाहरी बन ही नहीं सकता।
आज पुरुलिया में सर उन्होंने रैली में अपने चोट की बात फिर छेड़ी और कहा कि बीजेपी मुझसे डरती है, मेरे पैर ठीक थे, वो भी मेरे पैर शब्द कर दिए। उन्होंने ये शब्द कहा है, साजिश रची है ताकि मैं निकल ना पाऊं, लेकिन मैं फिर भी लड़ूं।
मुझे लगता है कि उन्होंने अपनी मेडिकल रिपोर्ट सार्वजनिक करनी चाहिए।
चोट से क्या सियासी फायदा उनको मिलेगा सर?
मैं नहीं मानता उनको फायदा मिलने जा रहा है। आप एक कैमरा जरा पब्लिक को में घुमाइए, हजारों लोग इतने छोटे से टाउन के अंदर परिवर्तन के लिए इकट्ठा हुए हैं, ममता को हटाने के लिए इकट्ठा हुए हैं, मोदी जी के समर्थन में इकट्ठा हुए।
महाराष्ट्र के गृह मंत्री पर गंभीर सवाल लगे। पूर्व कमिश्नर ने चिट्ठी में लिख दिया, जब इस तरह से हफ्ता महीना वसूली 100 करोड़ वसूली की बात हुई, बतौर गृह मंत्री आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं? देखिए,
अब सिर्फ पुलिस कमिश्नर का सवाल नहीं है और कुछ अफसरों ने भी चिट्ठी लिखी है। मैं कैंपेन में हूं, मैं देवेंद्र जी जो भेजेंगे उसको आराम से देखेंगे, मगर ये नैतिकता का सवाल है और मेरा मानना है महाराष्ट्र सरकार ने नैतिकता बतानी चाहिए।
Now, dynasts have taken center stage in this poll summer. Well, Paulami Saha from West Bengal, Akshita Nandagopal from Tamil Nadu bring us family politics and the scenarios that we would see this time in the elections. Cutting across.
West Bengal is not a state you usually associate with dynasty politics. Well, not up until now. The rise of the Pishi-Bhaipo duo, as their critics call them, has not only sealed the arrival of Trinamool's Gen Next. With this election, Abhishek Banerjee has also cemented his authority within the party. An undeniable fact that has ruffled many feathers. Here's a report.
মানুষের হৃদয় থেকে মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়কে সরানো যাবে না। আগামী 50 বছর বাংলার মাটিতে তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস থাকবে।
Abhishek Banerjee. If after Mamata Banerjee there is any one name the BJP is attacking for good measure this assembly election in Bengal, it is that of the Bhaipo or nephew. ...2021 will go down as the year that saw the rise of the leader called Abhishek Banerjee.
तुम रास्ते से फोटो हटा सकते हो, तुम फ्लैग मिटा सकते हो, 2 एमएलए को तोड़ के ले जा सकते हो, लेकिन दीदी को जनता के दिल से कैसे निकालोगे?
Win or lose, the Trinamool Congress has found its heir apparent. The 33-year-old nephew of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is only a decade old in politics, but his will is now writ large over the party. Abhishek is the son of Mamata's older brother, Amit Banerjee. Abhishek joined the party in 2011, after it created history by overthrowing the 34-year-old left-front government. He had just returned from Delhi with an MBA degree from the now-defunct Indian Institute of Planning and Management. To the surprise of many, Mamata Banerjee created a new platform called Yuva for Abhishek to head. This despite a robust all-India Trinamool youth wing being in place already, led by then TMC loyalist and now BJP leader Shuvendu Adhikari. Shuvendu, in his new avatar, has lost no opportunity to attack Abhishek. Many say he left the party in 2020 in protest against the nephew's rise, who he considers a product of nepotism. But it was in the year 2016 that Mamata started handing over serious responsibilities to Abhishek. In the run-up to the assembly polls that year, she made him in charge of districts like Nadia, Murshidabad, Purulia, North and South 24 Parganas. Abhishek even intervened when candidate selection caused some internal discord. As other TMC leaders found themselves entangled in the Sarada and Rose Valley chit fund scams or the Narada cash for favor sting, none of it touched the Banerjee Sion. Allegations of corruption and tolabazi or extortion have been made several times.
बीते 10 सालों में कट, कमीशन और तोलाबाजी कल्चर का सबसे बड़ा नुकसान बंगाल के गरीब, बंगाल के दलित, बंगाल के वंचित, बंगाल के आदिवासी को ही हुआ है.
But for all those who alleged, a defamation notice soon arrived at their doorsteps. It was only in 2019 that Abhishek had his first direct brush with the law, when his wife, Rujira, was allegedly caught at Kolkata airport by customs carrying 2 kilograms of gold without any declaration. In a rare press conference, Abhishek refuted all charges.
Is it a crime to be associated with me? Does it signify you are Abhishek Banerjee's wife? That's why you were harassed and heckled. I challenge you. If you have the guts, come and arrest me. If you have the courage, come and fight with me politically.
A Pandora's box had now been opened, and the BJP sharpened its attack against Bhaipo.
एक फैमिली पार्टी बनकर तृणमूल कांग्रेस रह गई है. 10 करोड़ बंगाल की जनता की चिंता करने बजाय मेरे भतीजे की चिंता कर उसको एक बार मुख्यमंत्री बना देते हैं तो बहुत बड़ा बंगाल का उद्धार हो जाएगा. ये थियरी पर जब राज्य की मुखिया चलती है तो इसी प्रकार के परिणाम आते हैं.
Abhishek hit back too.
এত ভয় এখন আবার আমার সাথে না লড়াই করে আমার বউকে টার্গেট করেছে. কি বলছে আমার বউ নাকি 2 বছর আগে এয়ারপোর্টে সোনা নিয়ে ধরা পড়েছিল. তো তোর সিআইএসএফ আর সিবিআই কি নাকে নস্যি দিয়ে ঘুমাচ্ছিল যখন ধরা পড়েছিল?
On February 23rd this year, CBI questioned Abhishek Banerjee's wife Rujira in a coal smuggling case. Rujira's sister Menaka Gambhir was also grilled. In a rare show of familiar camaraderie, Mamata Banerjee went to Abhishek's residence the morning of questioning, stepping out with his young daughter before the CBI sleuths arrived. She was no longer going to sit quiet as her opponents attacked her nephew.
এতই যদি তোদের দিদি আর ভাতিজা বলতে হয় তাহলে আমি চ্যালেঞ্জ করছি অমিত শাহকে, ফার্স্ট ইউ কন্টেস্ট উইথ অভিষেক ব্যানার্জি এন্ড টেল দ্য নেম আর কি করেছে তোমাকে বলতে হবে. আর তা নাহলে মনে রাখবে তোমার ছেলেও কিন্তু এই করাপশনের চার্জ থেকে রেহাই পাবে না. তোমার ছেলেকে তুমি লুকিয়ে রাখবে আর অন্যদের গালাগালি দেবে, এটা চলতে পারে না.
Abhishek's stamp over TMC is now visible to all, from the induction of election strategist Prashant Kishore to the drafting of the party's candidate list in 2021. The handover is near complete. The organization is run by Bhaipo now, claim his detractors. Mamata Banerjee is the face they say. It is Abhishek who is running the show. The 2021 assembly elections are the acid test for this leader in waiting. With Paulomi Saha in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
I've been tracking the elections very closely here in the state, and the one word that keeps coming up against the DMK is dynasty politics. The reason being that Udayanidhi Stalin, MK Stalin's son, seems to be rising up in the party ranks. He's an actor turned politician, and this time he's also been given a ticket to fight from the important Chepauk constituency in Chennai. The AIADMK has used this to say that it's not sunrise but sun, S-O-N rise, in the party. And they're saying that it's not Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam anymore but Dynasty Munnetra Kazhagam.
One family with politics in their blood. For over 50 years, the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam has been led by the Karunanidhis. Kalaignar Karunanidhi was the DMK chief from 1969. His demise in 2018 paved the way for heir apparent Stalin to take over. And now the next generation has also entered politics. Udayanidhi Stalin is being groomed to take over from Stalin. With Udayanidhi getting a ticket to contest from the Chepauk constituency, the DMK has been branded as the Dynasty Munnetra Kazhagam by the opposition.
मित्रों वैसे देखें तो 2G, 3G, 4G सारा आपके तमिलनाडु के अंदर है। कैसे? 2G मतलब मारन परिवार की 2 पीढ़ियां, 3G मतलब करुणानिधि परिवार की 3 पीढ़ियां और 4G मतलब गांधी परिवार की 4 पीढ़ियां। सारा का सारा यहाँ तमिलनाडु में हमें मिलता है।
Both Congress and DMK are suffering from internal contradictions. Both parties have tried to launch and relaunch their respective first families, but they have not got success. There is a continuous family drama there.
Chief Minister EPS has used Udayanidhi as a political tool to slam his rival Stalin in almost every single rally.
இன்றைக்கு சர்வாதிகாரமாக செயல்படுவார்கள். அவர் குடும்ப கட்சி, அந்த குடும்ப கட்சி வந்துவிட்டால் அதெல்லாம் அதிகாரம் மையமாக இன்றைக்கு வந்துவிடும். அதாவது குடும்பத்திலே பல பேர் இன்றைக்கு அதிகார வர்க்கம் இருக்கின்றார்கள். திரு ஸ்டாலின், உதயாநிதி, திருமதி கனிமொழி, தயாநிதி மாறன், இப்படி பல பேர் அதிகாரத்துக்கு வந்து மக்களை மாற்றி வழித்து விடுவார்கள். திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழக அரசு என்று சொன்னாலே அது ஒரு அராஜக அரசு என்று மக்கள் எண்ணிக்கொண்டிருந்தார்கள். 2 வருஷத்துக்கு முந்தி அப்பா அம்மா மாறி மாறி பேசுறாங்க. திரு ஸ்டாலினும் உதயாநிதி மாறி மாறி பேசுறாங்க. என் குடும்பத்துல யாரும் வரமாட்டாங்கன்னு பச்சை பொய் சொன்னாரு ஸ்டாலின். உதயாநிதி எங்க அப்பா என்ன சொல்றாரோ அதுதான் என்னுடைய முடிவுனார். இப்ப என்ன சொன்னாங்க? அப்பா இவருக்கு சீட்டு கொடுத்திருக்காரு, அவர் என்ன சொல்றாரோ அதான் இவர் நிக்கிறார். எவ்வளவு கில்லாடித்தனம் பாருங்க.
But Udayanidhi Stalin has refuted the charge time and again on India Today.
It's not that easy to be in my shoes. You have to be in my shoes to know what I'm doing and how much of difficulty I'm going through.
Udayanidhi has had a successful stint as an actor-producer. So why choose politics when he was successful in films? Well, it seems to be the most natural choice for Udayanidhi. It's like we said, the entire Karunanidhi family has politics in their blood. Karunanidhi had 3 wives. His first wife was Padmavati, second wife was Dayalu Ammal, and third wife Rajati Ammal. Karunanidhi's eldest son, M.K. Muthu, never entered politics, choosing films instead. Dayalu Ammal and Karunanidhi had 4 children: M.K. Alagiri, Stalin, Tamilarasu, and Selvi. Alagiri and Stalin entered politics. Tamilarasu and Selvi chose a life away from public service. And then there is Kannimari, who was the child of Karunanidhi and Rajati Ammal. And the latest generation in this family to take the pole plunge is Stalin's son, Udayanidhi. But is it only the DMK that's guilty of nepotism? Well, the AIADMK also has a record of sunrise. O. Pannirselvam has been accused time and again of propping up his son, Ravindranath, within the party. Ravindranath is currently an MP representing the Theni constituency.
ஆனால் வேண்டுமானால் இந்த அரசியல் வாரிசுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்க அதிமுக வேண்டுமானால் ஓ பன்னீர்செல்வத்தினுடைய மகன், அதே மாதிரி மற்ற அமைச்சருடைய மகன்கள், ஜெயக்குமாருடைய மகன், அவங்க தான் வந்து எந்த பணியும் இல்லாமல் நேரடியாக வந்ததுக்கு வாரிசு அடையாளமாக தெரிகிறாங்களே தவிர திமுக பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அது நடக்கவே நடக்காது.
Dynasty has become one of the most talked about issues this election in Tamil Nadu, with both Dravidian parties trading words over nepotism. But will it be an issue that voters consider? The answer perhaps lies in Udayanidhi's performance in the Chipok constituency.
When you talk about dynastic politics, there's one party that's been synonymous with it. Yes, the grand old party, the Congress, and that's because of the Gandhis. Both Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra have essentially been reluctant politicians, dabbling here and there, not immersing themselves full-time in politics. And that's led to Congress suffering time and again. while the Congress gets set for this big election battle in several states and they're also fighting it out within the party, the question remains whether Rahul and Priyanka can prove themselves this time around. They've hit the campaign trail with several unique ideas. If you look at Rahul's campaign here in Tamil Nadu or in Kerala, or for that matter, Priyanka's campaign in Assam, very different elements that they've brought into their rallies and campaigns. But will that be enough to really give a makeover for the Congress?
Think dynasty and politics, and the one family that first comes to mind is the Nehru-Gandhi Parivar. Once synonymous with power, the family is now fighting for political relevance and survival. If the stakes are high in the 5 assemblies facing elections, they are even higher for the Gandhi siblings. Having lost the Gandhi's traditional constituency for decades, Amethi, in 2019 to BJP's Smriti Irani, Rahul Gandhi has pulled out all the stops in the fight for Kerala. He is, after all, the MP now from Wayanad, and the upcoming polls are a matter of prestige for Rahul. So he's been cooking up a storm with locals, flexing his political muscle and diving straight into controversies like the time he suggested that voters in the south were more intelligent than those in North India.
I'm happy to come here. I found that people are interested in issues, and not just superficially, but going into detail in issues.
A comment that was enough for the BJP to target Rahul for disrespecting voters that had voted for him and his family for decades. The family name weighs heavy on the shoulders of the Gandhi scion, who had just last year resigned as the Congress president following the party's rout in the general elections. Since then, the party has been struggling with the leadership crisis, a crisis that forced 23 Congress veterans to dissent very publicly.
I was attacked by my own party people. So I'm the first person that says, look, democratic elections within parties absolutely critical. But I got a question for you. It's interesting to me that this question is not asked about any other party. Nobody asked the question, why is there no internal democracy in the BJP?
While Rahul fights for democracy, it is dynasty that he finds hard to shake off. In Tamil Nadu, the Congress has allied with another dynastic party, the DMK, that is witnessing another sunrise. The Congress in Tamil Nadu had to make a big climb down. The party this time is contesting only on 25 assembly seats compared to the 41 it fought in 2016. This despite the fact that Rahul Gandhi had made several trips to the state in the last 2 months. While the Congress battled its allies in Tamil Nadu, it lost power in Puducherry. With 5 of its MLAs and one of its alliance partner DMK resigning, the Narayanaswamy government was reduced to a minority. The Congress now faces a more difficult task of returning to power in Puducherry. As Rahul focuses in the south, in the east his party faces a monumental challenge. In West Bengal, Congress is a third force after having aligned with the left and the Indian Secular Front. In Assam, the BJP-led alliance and the Congress-led Mahajot seem to be neck and neck. And it's here that the Congress has launched its Brahmastra, Priyanka. Channeling her grandmother's charisma and style, Priyanka has been adapting her brother's hands-on campaign approach in the state.
The Congress is not the Gandhi family. The Congress is an idea. The Congress is an idea on which India was built. The Gandhi family is irrelevant. It can be this family, this leader, that leader. It is the idea that is alive.
While the Congress relied on Priyanka to propel it to power in the 2017 Uttar Pradesh elections, she didn't prove to be quite the game changer the Congress hoped for her to be. The Congress is in power in only 5 states for now: Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra and Jharkhand, where it is an alliance partner. This time too, with 5 states going to polls, it's a do-or-die battle for the Gandhi siblings. Will they be able to resurrect their party? We will only know on the 2nd of May. Bureau Report, India Today.
And that's all we have time for in this special broadcast on India Today. Thank you very much for watching. And remember to stay tuned to India Today as we get you the best coverage from the ground and the best analysis on the upcoming state elections.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.